All right, welcome back. Live at Drew's house here, another edition. This is our, kind of our high school into college show. This is a nice little mix of people here. I'm going to get right to them because I want to make sure I give the youngsters here all the time. Let's start with Newburyport's own Casey McLaren. You guys remember him, basketball star at Newburyport. Casey, how are you? Say hello.
I'm good. How about you?
And then on the other side here, these two girls that are looking very comfortable. This is like the most comfortable duo we've seen. Lily Eldridge and Carly Goodhue, two senior stars of the Danvers volleyball team. How are you, girls?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. All right, Casey, I want to start with you because you're in a unique situation. You're a couple years older than these girls, and you played college ball at Tufts. Obviously, everybody remembers the star-studded career you had at Newburyport. But tell me the unique move that you have made here because of the pandemic.
Yeah, so basically I kind of assessed the laws that were going in, especially in the Northeast, and it seemed pretty obvious that the Ivies weren't going to have a season, and historically the NESCACs try and mirror what the Ivies do. So I thought that there wouldn't be a season, and I wanted to maintain eligibility. So I figured I'd stay at home, get an internship, resume build, make some money, and then hopefully when all is said and done, there won't be all these restrictions for next year, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case, but we'll see.
How tough of a decision is that? Because obviously, I mean, you're used to just going to school and playing basketball. I mean, That's been your life for a long time here. This must have been tough.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy, but I think when it came to decision time, it became easier. The thought creeped in, months before I made that decision. But yeah, the toughest part is probably just being away from all my friends. Most of them are at Tufts. There's 5 others though that are doing the same thing I'm doing. Got guys on campus, other guys taking classes from California. It's kind of crazy. We all want to be back together, but it's not looking like this year's the year.
What did you guys all talk to each other while making that decision? I mean, is it something you kind of worked out, felt each other out, see what you're doing?
A little bit. I mean, I was aware when I made the decision. I already knew that a couple others had made the decision, and I knew that a couple others were also considering that. And then that being said, there were definitely some guys, some seniors especially, who were like, I'm just going to go to school, get my degree, and kind of be done with school. But I feel like I was in a unique situation where I wasn't too old, where I wasn't ready to go in the workforce. So it just made sense, and I guess I'll join the workforce for 1 year and then go back to being a college student.
There you go. That's good. That'll be a good little, might be a good way to do it, actually. You'll be happy to go back to college, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Lily and Carly now. Again, Lily Eldridge and Carly Goodhue, seniors at Danvers High, volleyball squad. You two, first of all, what is senior year like at the high school level? It's going to be crazy in a pandemic.
Okay. So yeah, it's definitely different now because we're doing a hybrid model. So we were in Monday, Tuesday, and then we have Wednesday off. Well, we're like in school, but it's Zooms. They're only 20-minute Zooms right now for each class. And then Thursday, Friday, it's like asynchronous learning. So they give you work to do and you do it. So it's definitely a lot different from what we're used to.
And volleyball is being played, or let people know what the deal is with that. Are you practicing? What's the deal?
Yeah, so at the high school level, we got pushed to fall 2, which means our season is now going to start in February. So the MIA has allowed us to practice, though, so we've been practicing. But recently, those practices had to stop, and we only have one more practice over the next, 2 weeks because of, the pandemic, and also because of, just, regulations now. Other towns can't have their coaches coaching them, so it's only fair to limit us.
Gotcha. And you guys are in the situation Casey was in not too long ago where you're, and, I even remember it, it's kind of a stressful time, but looking at schools and trying to find the right school, I can imagine that's a whole different animal because, as Casey can attest to, campus life is a lot different than it was, at this time last year.
Yeah, so we're both just trying to find the right fit. I think it's definitely been harder to go out and see schools because there's so many regulations in some schools, like out of state. They're just not allowing students to come see like the campus and stuff. So that's definitely been really difficult because you can't really get a feel of the school on a virtual tour.
Yeah, Lily, you want to add to that?
Yeah, like especially like narrowing down choices has been tough because like you always like you want to meet the coaches, you want to meet the players, but with the pandemic now it's like you have to Zoom call like your coaches like to meet them like face to face. And then like also without the pandemic sometimes you could go practice with the team to see if you can fit there well, if the coaches like you, and you definitely can't do that now. So it's been like everything's pushing back, so it gets near deadlines and it's hard to like try to like find that school.
Casey, you must relate to that a little bit because that is not an easy decision trying to figure out. I mean, I know you had options. It's a tough call trying to figure out where to go to school, and you want to try to get as much information as possible. You must feel for them a little bit on that.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine because like making a decision was tough enough as it was. So you add that element, and yeah, I definitely feel for them. That stinks.
What about what is college life like? I mean, is it? I can just not. There's no traffic, I guess. What I mean, the cafeterias aren't packed. Paint that picture for me a little bit.
You're talking about
Yeah, because I mean,
the pandemic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from what I've heard, that like, everyone's got to wear a mask, obviously. Most classes are online, but some are also in person, especially if they're smaller, 10, 15 people, but a lot of them are 100-person lecture halls that all got moved online. I heard that they got to do like reservations for the dining hall, which seems pretty ridiculous because, I mean, it's a dining hall. It's not like you're going to Capitol Grill. What else? You got to like wear a mask if you're practicing your sport. Just seems pretty ridiculous. And especially for me, I've got asthma. I don't know how that would work.
you guys are there. Yeah, I can imagine that'd be tough to practice basketball with a mask.
Yeah.
Are you girls wearing a mask for volleyball practice?
Yeah, we are. We have to wear a mask the entire time we play.
Really? How does
It stinks.
that doesn't seem easy.
No, it's not that easy at all, but like throughout the pandemic, wearing it had like helped adjusting to what life was going to be like now. And so it's not awful. Like obviously there's definitely a better scenario we could have been in, but kind of just adapt to it and roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask all three of you this because it's kind of interesting. You're not that far separated in age, but you're kind of in different worlds, with Casey being in college and you girls finishing up high school. Casey, you first. We've done stories all week long for really months now of house parties and college kids and high school age kids getting together. Are kids your age treating this virus with respect, or are they kind of saying it's not going to hurt?
I don't think so. I think that most people in the public eye, they'll say like, oh, like we've got to do this, we've got to wear masks. But I think when Friday night rolls around, they kind of forget what they're saying, and everyone has selfish interests. But I would say that's definitely my take for speaking of college kids.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case in several states. How about you girls? What are you seeing?
So there's been like a lot, like same thing. There was a local town that just had to go remote because
Yeah, I saw that.
there was a party and the cops showed up and everyone like ran off. And since they couldn't find everyone, just for like safety precautions, they shut down the whole school for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think definitely now people have become like looser with the idea that it's still a pandemic. But I think when it first started, I think kids were really respectful of it. Mm-hmm. But I think now it's just like I hang out with like a couple of my friends still because, I'm with them every day. So it's definitely, I don't know. I think some kids are handling it really well and I think others aren't.
What is, and again, Casey McLaren joining us, Newburyport High School graduate, and now at Tufts taking a bridge year. Lily Eldridge and Carly Goodhue, currently at Danvers High School, seniors on the volleyball squad. Let's move off pandemic a little bit, Casey, because it's not that often that I bet you get to be kind of a teaching tool to a couple seniors in high school. What did you look for in a school, and what was the end call for you to go to Tufts?
Yeah, good question. I would say my number one priority was probably academics, but when it came down to it, most of my options were high academic anyways. So from there, my next top priority was making sure that I'd be friends with most of the people on the team, because it's a big part of the puzzle. You don't want to be kind of an outcast from the group that you're going to be hanging out with for 4 years. And I definitely felt that the guys at Tufts were, most similar to me. And then from there, I'd say finding a good coach and a good situation. For instance, when I made the decision to go to Tufts, I trusted Coach Sheldon. I knew he'd be a good coach. That being said, I knew that he had already been at Tufts for 34 years. So I knew if he were to retire, they're going to hire a good coach no matter what, whether that be a current assistant or a new hire. So definitely make sure you're in a good situation with the coaches as well.
Do they help you too? Because I imagine that's a tricky spot for a coach. Nobody necessarily wants to see you go away for a year, or maybe they do. I don't know. Were they helpful with advice at all? Did you pick their brains, or was this?
Yeah, good question. Good question. They were. I mean, this is another reason why you want to find good coaches who are honest with you. And obviously, me not going to school and other kids not going to school wouldn't have necessarily benefited them if they did have a season, but they were pretty honest with me. They told me, if I was in your position, I'd probably take a gap year, just given all the restrictions going on.
It's good. So yeah, coaches, that's a good coach there, I guess. Good coaching staff.
Yeah.
Lily and Carly, I wonder, let's hope everything stays on track and you end up playing volleyball games and have a good solid season and maybe end up in a state championship game like you did last year. There you go. What would you probably are never going to take your senior season for granted anyway, but I can imagine through a pandemic, with the scare of this thing all going away, I can imagine you're going to cherish every moment.
Yeah, I'm just going to be happy if we can at least play one game and have at least one senior night. It's been something that we've always looked up to since freshman, and obviously we didn't expect this to happen our freshman year, but definitely like the moments we have at practice, even though they're limited at this point, like you still take it for, like you still cherish those moments because you don't know how many you're going to have left, especially as a senior.
Yeah, I'm so happy and so grateful that we can be in the gym right now. When we first heard about like what was going to happen with the season, we were constantly talking to our coach, just wondering what's going to happen and what the state and what the NEC and what our town is just going to decide in the end. So, we're staying really positive about having a February season, but right now we don't know.
Yeah,
but
right now it's up in the air.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you were just thrilled to get back out and practice. I bet you never thought you'd be saying that.
Yeah, definitely.
Casey, what are those nights? What did they mean to you? Because they're about to go through it. I mean, they'll have a senior night and say things do get horrible. I mean, they would find a way to do that anyway. But what is that senior year like? Bring us back in those moments, because I mean, you broke records. You had a senior year for the ages. What was that year like, though? Being a senior, playing sports, playing your game. What was that like?
Yeah, it was special. I mean, definitely don't take it for granted. I'd say, I probably had bigger goals, to go further in the tournament my senior year. We obviously got heartbroken in a crazy game at the buzzer against Drake. But, senior year is pretty special. And, you definitely, if you do have a season, at least internally, I was definitely keeping track. Like, okay, like we're 10 games into a 20-game season. I've still got half my senior season left. Like, it's definitely, it's emotional, especially if you've been playing, your whole life for that sport.
Can you relate with that moment too of just like, even like just soaking up every minute on the practice floor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And then I would say most of my teammates as well, all of them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carly. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like I like walking into the gym the first time after not being in the gym for like months. It was like it felt so good to just be there again and just thinking like this is like my last first practice. Like just thinking like I was just so grateful to be back in the gym.
Definitely.
What about the what has been the for all three of you too, and you can just take it kind of in a row if you want. What has been the toughest part for you at this stage in your lives? Is it the not being away from friends? Is it the disruption to school? Is it what is like the toughest part of the quarantine period been for all of you?
It's definitely. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's definitely has to be like the adaptability because you never know what you're gonna get now, especially like in anything that used to be normal is everything's changed. So you definitely have to adapt back to school in a different way, which you would never expect. And then like sports and even a social life, you have to adapt in a way that's safe and everything like that.
Yeah, Carly, go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree with Lily. I think just like the thought of not knowing what's going to happen next is probably the hardest part for me because, you know, I am a senior. Like this, like your senior year is supposed to be like a really important year, like having like your last prom and like your like senior night and just like graduation and all that. And we don't know what's like happening right now.
Casey?
Yeah, I would say being deprived of human contact. I see my parents and everything, that's fine. And, you know, I'll see some buddies who are still around, but yeah, that's definitely, it's changing some things in the world. It's probably the reason why, you know, mental health is hiring so many people right now.
Yeah. How's your brother doing? He obviously had a big career at Newburyport following in your footsteps, but
Good, yeah. So it seems that Endicott's going to be having a season, or at least, you know, that's what everything's pointing to. And they've already started practicing. They've got to wear a mask, but, you know, I think as a freshman, he was in a little bit of a different situation for me. You know, he's probably itching to get to college, whereas I'd already experienced it and kind of was okay with my decision.
yeah, I would think social distancing is a bit of a problem for him with him banging down low on the glass there.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows how much social distancing is going on in rebounding drills.
That's true.
They probably can't even do that, honestly.
Are there actually restrictions on the floor?
I've heard some crazy stuff, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I heard from an AAU coach that they want to, like, make it so there's no timeouts in AAU because, you know, you bring the whole team together. What else? I've heard some crazy things like you can't offensive rebound because then you'd be going like you just basically just forfeit the rebound to the defensive team. Like that sounds ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually in the state plans, but that's what I've heard that they're trying to do for AAU at least.
That's at least been talked about. Wow. How about on the volleyball front? Any rule changes with the pandemic or?
Yeah, there's been like a 3-foot rule. So like unless you're blocking, you can't go 3 feet into the net. You have to stay 3 feet back. You have to hit back there. Setters can't like tip back there. So that's definitely one of the bigger ones because kind of rules out a lot of defensive and like definitely like weakens the playing game for some. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we can't go in huddles. We can't do high fives and like, which is like makes sense because we are in a pandemic. But that's just such a big component of volleyball.
Especially like the energy. And
for energy and stuff.
It goes against everything all of you have ever been taught in team.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow, fascinating. All right, well, that is crazy. I'm glad it's a good feel getting the college vibe, and Casey obviously taking the gap year, and Lily and Carly going through the pandemic at the high school senior year level. Rapid fire for you three. We'll end the show with this. Let's go. We'll keep it in order this way the whole way through, just so we kind of don't overstep each other. Let's go. Casey, Carly, Lily. All right.
Sure.
Casey, favorite quarantine activity?
Favorite quarantine activity?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Checking the stock market.
Checking the stock market.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good for you. You really have jumped into the adult world very quickly.
Yep.
Go ahead, Carly.
Probably going for walks with my dog.
I would say watching movies. I've watched like all the Marvel movies throughout the quarantine, so now I can actually talk about it with friends.
Okay. You might have to give me a different answer next time around, because Casey, favorite movie?
Oh, man. I don't watch a whole lot of movies, but there's some good ones, obviously. You're going to have to get back to me. I'll think of it.
Go ahead, girls. Give him a second to buy some time.
My favorite movie is probably The Proposal. I like that movie. I watched that movie during quarantine.
I'd have to say The Blind Side.
That's a good one. I used to say that in like high school and middle school, but I'd probably say Patriot Day, the Boston Marathon bombing one.
Oh, that's the Wahlberg one, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Favorite musician?
I like Lil Baby.
Is that the pregame music too?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Carly?
Definitely Luke Combs. Just came out with a new album.
Country girl?
Yeah.
I would have to go with, at the moment, I'd go with Ariana Grande.
Okay. Very good. Favorite class in school? Let's go currently.
Probably AP Psych.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
But I'll change it up. I'll do, right now, it's either Psych or Math at the time right now being.
Casey, high school is fair game for you too. What was the favorite class?
In high school?
Well, just all time favorite.
All time? Probably history before 1815. And then, well, to go backwards, my girlfriend loves Luke Combs. And then her parents also both went to Danvers High, which is funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very small world.
Yep.
Okay. Are you not on the Luke Combs train yet, or do
No, I like country music. I mostly listen to country music though in the summertime or in car rides with my girlfriend, but it's not what I put on when I'm
okay.
alone, you know?
Understood. And all right, final, let's end with these. What is the one thing that you wish would maybe be communicated better to you? This is kind of not your normal rapid fire question, but the one thing that you wish would kind of be communicated better to all of you during this pandemic, because I know, especially from the athlete's point of view, it's like, we just want to know, they're very structured. We just want to know what the schedule is going to be. We want to know what we can and can't do. And there's been a lot of frustrations. What's the one thing that you would change from a communication standpoint? Tough one, I know.
The whole 14 days to save lives and get back to normal. That was obviously didn't work. You remember that back in March, they said 14 days in your home and we'll go back to normal.
Oh, I know. Everybody thought it was going to be a 2-week thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of us, but they probably knew better than us.
Yeah, that is true. It's obviously however many months later, maybe.
Yeah.
How about you girls? Are you girls feeling like the communication lines are decent at the high school level, or?
They definitely have kept us in the loop as much as they possibly could at Danvers High. I just think I wish I would have known we were on edge for months about our season. And they finally said we could play, and then they said we couldn't, and then we could, and then we couldn't again. So just definitely having a set schedule would have been really, really nice.
Yeah. I'd probably, for communication, I wish, this is kind of more looking into the future. I wish, we had a set plan. I know if we go all remote, they're going to tell us, not even a week before. I wish they would tell us more about, academically, what the future is going to look at, because I feel like when you have a set plan in the future, which you don't really get now, that would just be nice.
Casey, you're the wise old guy in all this in this little circle of friends here. What is obviously it's tough to give advice in a pandemic, but what would you tell these two high schoolers here going through this senior year?
It's a good question. I'd say for like the recruitment part, I know it's probably tough to meet people, but at least when I was going through the process, and obviously I was going on visits, so it was different, but maybe even going on rosters of schools you're interested in, and maybe follow a few of the girls, and try and have some side chats, figure out what the school's about, because at the end of the day, these are the people you're going to be spending 10 hours with every day. So I always say that's the most important part of making a decision.
All right. Well, hopefully life gets back to normal for all of us on the very soon side. Thank you all for taking some time. This was fun. It was kind of a good little roundtable conversation from all of you. I appreciate it very much. Casey McLaren, Lily Eldridge, Carly Goodhue. Thank you all very much. Hope everybody's doing all right and your families are staying safe and all that stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you all soon, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Hope you all enjoyed that. That was fun. Again, a very big thanks to Casey McLaren. You always remember him. He was a star basketball player at Newburyport. Man, could that kid play. And I just thought it would be a good taste. He's kind of in that unique situation. I randomly, I guess, texted him or Facebook messaged him a month or so ago. And I stumbled upon the idea that he's going to be doing a bridge year, gap year, I think he called it. Which I thought was kind of a unique situation. And I figured there's a lot of people his age that are in that situation, athletes, college athletes and all that stuff. And then Carly is my cousin who has been on the show before, Danvers High. They were on that, Carly and Lily Eldridge were on that juggernaut Danvers High School team that went to the state championship game last year. So I know what they're dealing with too, trying to find a school to go to next year. So I thought that would be kind of a fun little balance, fun little exchange, and I hope you enjoyed that. Casey McLaren, Lily Eldridge, Carly Goodhue, live from Drew's house at a little bit of a different angle. I'm recording this a little bit later tonight, and the sun is going down. Have you noticed this? It's getting darker earlier. Gonna get cold soon. But thank you all for tuning in. Another edition live at Drew's house. It has been a pleasure. That's it for the week. Flying by here, folks. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. All right. See you soon.